You are supposed to be stashed in here. Like you were supposed to have been. Is my audio like really, or is it just the way that it's like directed? Because I barely heard my character eating, which is weird. Anyway, yeah. So let's just go to. Is this what I think it is? Oh, I forgot to name this. Wait. It deleted my blanks. You're joking. Oh, it deleted my blanks of it. Why would you do that, game? That means I have to do that all over again. I had blanks from here to here, like I do with all the other ones. Like if I were to go to, well, Obsidian's a bad choice. But like what I do with Netherrack. Nope, not Netherrack. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, the reason why Netherrack's in there instead of like all of the natural blocks from the Nether is not in here is because the Nether needs its own spot. So it's like that. Where is the one that would be best? Ah, as you can see, like these are got blanks. That's kind of what this one was supposed to have too, but apparently the game decided to. Oh right, we had that crash. Oh my word! It was when I tried to move the bee stuff. It must have removed them. It must have like reverted it to a previous state, and I forgot that it did that. Oh my word! Is that ever the worst thing to ever see when you get back into a game? All your progress got reset. Oh my word! That sucks. I'm just gonna put the obsidian in the obsidian one for now. I'm just gonna put it there for now. Gilded Blackstone? I might as well keep this one out. Actually, I might as well just grab all the Gilded Blackstone now. Actually, I'll grab the mud too. I'm just gonna do this. Just so it's easier to grab. That's cool and interesting. I don't know why it's like that. Anyway. Yeah, okay. So Gilded Blackstone's done now. That's perfect. And again, the reason why that it's in the Nether is because you can only obtain this in the Nether. Oh, the reason why they're not named is because of the same thing too. It reverted it back to a previous state. Oh, that sucks. That's something you never want to see in your Minecraft world is that it gets reset because of like something just decides to break. You know what? I'm gonna go use that iron axe and break these empty ones so I could stop looking in them. I'm just gonna stash the barrels in here for now. I mean, we can keep that stuff in there for now. Actually, we should start putting everything else away. So while I'm talking about this, or while I am putting stuff away, I wanted to talk about something else. So if you have been watching my Oblivion mod playthrough, if not, you can kind of ignore this if you want. But I wanted to mention something as well. So I've been working on my mod a lot. I've gotten a lot of stuff done specifically for it. So that's great news. Is that, like, we're getting a lot of new cool stuff happening for it. Ignore me while I am trying to. Oh yeah, by the way, this is how I throw stuff away. Is that I organize it by running around, and I won't do things like by section. I'll literally just start running around. So yeah, be prepared for that. But back to the topic at hand. I wanted to just say though that, like, I been working a lot and I wanted to test something, so I decided to throw my hat into the ring pretty much and attempt to try it. Well, technically I didn't fail. It's just that it didn't work the way that I wanted it to, so I stopped. So instead, what I decided to do is that I decided to, well, not complete it. But I wanted to keep at least some of the aspects of the attempt still present in the current version. What do I mean by this? Well, I I wanted to try and incorporate a Anvil Castle into my mod. So one that came that but not just any Anvil Castle. One that came from a mod called Open Cities. Now you can't get Open Cities anymore. Unfortunately, apparently it's not on the Nexus anymore. And I tried looking everywhere for it, and I had to find a different version of it, but it still functioned relatively the same. Like, it still does everything that it's supposed to, but it's not, like, it's not called Open Cities, it's called something else. And I was a bit angry at the fact that I couldn't find it, but I'm just glad though that I was able to have a version of it at least. So the version that I have is not called Open Cities. It's called Open Cities Reborn or Redux or something. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to take a look at it. But it does pretty much the same thing, except for apparently it does a little bit of extra things. I'm not 100% sure. Oops. And what I was trying to do is I was trying to get it to work with my mod. So one of the things was that I was going to sort of cheat it out, but in the way that I'm talking about is that I was going to use the island that I already created for the lodge, and I was just going to change the size of it to sort of fit the area in which that I need it to go to for the castle to make it work. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And one of the things that it ended up doing, as unfortunate as it was that it didn't work the way that I wanted it to. Instead of changing the size and the position of the blocks to fit that new, well, the new size, all it pretty much did was that it changed the size but didn't change its position, it stayed the same. So pretty much it's the same island, just bigger, pretty much. So I was like, oh man, it's not going to work the way that I wanted it to. That's not a good sign. So instead, I have to redesign the entire island to fit the castle. Now, the castle is going to have two cool areas. It was going to have the Dunbarrow Cave and the... As soon as my brain catches up here. Oh, I could have deleted that. Okay, whatever. it was going to have the Dunbarrow Cave and the Vile Lair DLCs attached to it. Now, Dunbarrow Cave is already technically attached to it, in a way. Mind you, you have to have the DLC installed in order for it to be technically a part of it, but hey. That's just how that is. But what I'm talking about is that I would have it attached but in a different location, and that it would have been standalone, so that would, though, like, you don't need the Dunbarrow Cave DLC to work, it would just work automatically. Now, of course, there's a difference in the version that I wanted to create, and that is that my version wouldn't have NPCs. So the NPCs would have been removed. Now, unfortunately, while I still technically have the project, I've sort of lost interest now in continuing it. As unfortunate as it is, I lost interest. So again, while I still have the world, it's still present. I still have the mod. I still have it. I've just lost interest into continuing it. The only thing is that, like, because I've lost interest into continuing to build said area, I don't want to continue doing it anymore. And because of that reason as well, I sort of have abandoned it. Well, abandoned, like, continuing to do it. Not abandoned as in, like, I've deleted it and we're never going to have it again. No. But what I want to do for my mod as well is I want to sort of create sort of a memory or a memorial for my attempt at doing it. Now, again, if this does as bad as it was for Stalwar's Manor, as well as for the island, that means that I'm going to have to move all of what makes the Anvil Castle into position. Which means I'm going to have to do it all by hand. But the difference is that this time it'll be much easier to kind of do because, well, it's going to be easier. Well, it's going to be easier in a different way because instead we're not going to have the castle's interior. As of now. I don't know if I want to maybe throw it in there later on in the development, but right now that's not the plan. The plan right now is to just get it out, get it done. But I want to maintain the Vile Lair and the Dunbarrow Cave part, because I think that that was an amazing idea to use those in terms of my mod. Now, this definitely makes it so that I cannot distribute my mod at all. So, which means that if you're expecting a copy of my mod to be on the Nexus, this will definitely kill that. So I wanted to mention that before anything else. The only thing that I want to do, and unfortunately this will also mean that I have to keep the version of what I currently have, because of, well, of what I have, of course, or what I'm going to be putting in. Wait. I found more coal. There we go. Is because, like, right now I can technically change a lot of the textures and the meshes of each and every item into a vanilla version of that item. So let's say, like, my Dark King's armor, I can change that into, like, Daedric armor, so it still has the same representation as, like, you know, in, like, a high level equipment. But the only problem is that the only problem with that is that, like, I'm gonna have to go through my entire mod again, grab those vanilla resources, and throw them in there. And that's what that means. what does it say? What? That's weird. I thought we had bones. Anyway. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to grab these. Maybe these are different. For some odd reason. Anyway. So yeah, so I wanted to use them in their own way. Now, unfortunately, there is no lore reason as to why these are going to be there. Now, technically, I can have an explanation for the Dunbarrow Cave. However, the lair doesn't make any sense. And allow me to explain why I say it this way, too. So for Dunbarrow Cave, or not, for Dunbarrow Cave is much easier to explain than the lair. The lair's reason why it doesn't fit the profile is because of what it's supposed to be for like the DLC, the game, or however you want to kind of word it as. Because the explanation that we are given for it is that it's supposed to be for an evil character. The reason why that this becomes a problem is because Drathis isn't evil. The Dark King, well, the current incarnation of the Dark King, isn't evil. He's a good boy. He's just using evil